In 3 minutes. Phil Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Phil Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Phil Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
On, and for those of you watching on the Bud Light live stream, hopefully everything is now taken care of. Appreciate it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670 if you want to chime in. Saying hi to Bob, listening to us in Viroqua. Disappointed the Badger season came to an end, but really likes the way Greg Gard's guys played. Also saying hello to Jason, listening to us in Menominee. Jason says, disappointing season. They need to start getting some better recruits in. Otherwise, Wisconsin is going to fade away as a Big Ten powerhouse when it comes to basketball. Do you really need all 5-star recruits? You know, when you look at the now Gonzaga, they get 1 or 2 every now and then. Baylor, obviously. But is Alabama sitting there with a bunch of 5-star recruits? Michigan's got a couple. But when you look at the top teams, is Oral Roberts sitting there with 5-star recruits? Is Abilene Christian sitting there with 5-star recruits? These are teams that are playing again. Loyola Chicago. They just knocked off Illinois. I mean, I think there's a thought process in recruiting when it comes to the ability to bring in guys that, one, fit what your system is, and two, get those guys to play together. And that's where coaching comes in. And again, it's not where I don't think this team didn't play hard, because they did. It's not where they didn't have open looks. I just think they didn't have a couple of pure shooters. They didn't have that one guy to go to, that one or two guys to go to say, that's where you're going to consistently have that cutthroat guy from the outside that's going to bring you back. You know? Good games today, Michigan and LSU. That's going to be a good one. You've got Colorado getting the win. They beat Georgetown bad. Georgetown on a run coming out of the Big East, and Georgetown ended up just getting drilled by Colorado. Now they get a chance, Colorado does, to take on Florida State. I'm excited to see how far UCLA is going to go. Mick Cronin's a hell of a coach. I liked him when he was at the University of Cincinnati. He takes the job, goes out to UCLA, and has turned that program around. The Pac-12 used to be that big powerhouse conference coming in, and they did not come in with a lot of fanfare, but they're playing pretty well. Oregon obviously still playing, but UCLA, I want to see what they do. I'm looking forward to watching that game. Maryland and Alabama, another Big Ten foe. You got Iowa coming up today as well, trying to represent. So you got Iowa, Michigan, Maryland still in the tournament. But then you start to look, and Purdue is out, Ohio State is out, Wisconsin is out. You go through that whole list of Illinois is out, Rutgers is out. That whole list of teams, the Big Ten coming in to the tournament, considering that they were considered to be powerhouse basketball conference this year. Now they still got a shot at winning it all. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, they've stumbled big time. Ohio State specifically, Utah appointment. I mean, then again, Florida can say the same thing as a 7 seed coming in out of the SEC to get knocked off by Oral Roberts. I mean, you run into a team that everything's just come together for them. And again, it's not about being the best all the time. It's about getting hot at the right time. You get hot, you get healthy, you get on that streak, you start to feel it, and all of a sudden things just begin to fall in your direction. The bounce of the ball coming off the rim, a guy mistimes a jump, whatever, you get that extra board. Next thing you know, you're continuing the dance as opposed to being out of the tournament. The tournament's success, Ken says, ratings are by far the best metric at predicting the tournament success. The ratings are good. The ratings are real good. So and when you look at the Ken Palm ratings, yes, you are correct. The television ratings are huge. But when you talk about the Ken Palm ratings, yes, if that's what you're going back to, I had to go back and find your previous comment. You're correct. That's a good way to look at teams coming into the tournament as to how you can look at predictions, how you can start to really kind of pick your bracket, so to speak, for teams that would match up well against one another. But I thought you were talking about television ratings there, because the television ratings are off the charts. People have just been salivating for this, for the tournament. 877-867-1670. Chris says, would you take Iowa and give up the points today, or are you taking Oregon? What is it, 5, I think is what it is? I don't know if now remember, Oregon didn't play because they had that uncontested game because VCU had to bow out because of COVID. So this is their first game. I think I take Oregon in the points. I still think I was going to win, but I think I'm going to take Oregon in the points. They're going to have fresh legs. They didn't have to play in that first round. They got all geeked up for it, and then it ended up going by the wayside. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. We do, by the way, have an update in the Deshaun Watson stuff. If you have not paid attention to it over the weekend, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I want to get back to that. I want to give you a little note on that coming up when we come back, because in case you have not heard, I don't know what the over and under is coming out of Vegas right now as to whether or not he's even going to play next season. It's that bad. If you haven't heard, I'll tell you what it is. That's coming up next on the Bill Michaels Show.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. We are glad you are with us. Thanks so much. Deshaun Watson, man. More suits filed today. So 3 more civil lawsuits alleging inappropriate conduct were filed today against Deshaun Watson, including one that alleges that he sexually assaulted a woman this month, as recently as this month. Tony Busby, the attorney that's representing all of these women, has filed now 10 lawsuits against Watson since last week. 10 of them One lawsuit filed today alleges that Watson assaulted a massage therapist in March of 2021 by touching her with his naughty bits, then exposing himself. Another of today's lawsuits centered on two massage sessions, one in June and one in August of last year, where the woman alleges Watson harassed her by grabbing her butt and between her legs, touching her with his penis over and over again, trying to force her to perform oral sex. I mean, it's the same thing. The lawsuit alleges that the massage was first booked through a spa and the second through Instagram, where the woman says she did not realize that Watson was the returning client because she was asked specifically, well, if you did it the first time, why would you do it again? Didn't realize it was the same person. The third lawsuit centers on an incident that allegedly took place in January of 2021, accusing Watson of, again, exposing himself to a massage therapist, touching her with himself, making suggestive comments, trying to get her to perform oral sex. The attorney Busby said in an Instagram post on Saturday, he will submit final affidavits and evidence from several women to the Houston Police Department and the Houston District Attorney this morning. He's also going to request that a grand jury consider the evidence and determine whether charges should be brought against Watson by the state of Texas. Now, on Friday, remember, he was going to have that big press conference, said that the first time he spoke to Watson's representatives about one of the sexual allegations was back in February. And he also said Friday that he had been hired to represent now a total of 12 women and has been contacted by more than 10 additional women, bringing the total to 22 women who have now come forward with reports about similar conduct from Deshaun Watson. Last week, the NFL said that the matter's under review. And Busby said that they're going to take all the evidence, give it to the NFL, give it to the district attorney. And now the women are not only suing him, but some are now saying they want charges brought against him. Again, and some of these originally were set up because I had said, if you're just doing this on Instagram, you're crazy. There was a couple that were brought Instagram by Watson himself. At least one of the women was put in contact with Watson by one of the trainers who recommended I go to for outside massages. And then in addition to that, there was another one that was set up by one of the spas through their therapists who then got a hold of Watson as well, and then did obviously, filed the case against him. But all of this sounds the same. It's basically and again, I don't understand why you're going through numerous women only. There's not any right now, as far as we know, other than the massage therapist that actually works for the team. We don't know of any other male massage. I mean, if he would be, say, contacting men and women, trying to get massages and this and that, and okay, yeah, but he's contacting strictly women. He's making contact through legitimate sources and then trying to get a hold of them through Instagram outside of us. To say bad, I think at this point is an understatement. We may never see Deshaun Watson play in the NFL again, or at least not. As far as him not wanting to play for the Texans, right now he may just want to say, I just want to stay out of jail. But 22 women have now either come forward and or filed allegations against him and are now cooperating with Busby and or the Houston Police Department in all of this. This is about as bad as it gets. And then again, I can't say that because it's demeaning to the women. But for Deshaun Watson, I guess under the guise of, one or two women claim this against you, you stop and you don't ever do this again. You don't ever call these women, text these women, Instagram these women. You stop it. And yet to continue to do it, an allegation, first time the allegation was brought was with his attorneys back in February, and he's still doing this and contacting women as recently as a week and a half ago. You can't be this stupid. You just can't. If this is indeed true, he's toast. He's gone. At the very least, he's going to be suspended for a while because this is going to linger for some time. And you're not hearing anything else out of him. You're not hearing anything else out of his attorney. None of it. Now you're just hearing it out of Busby, and it's basically the same story. Contacts him through Instagram, wants a massage, gets naked, tries to drag his junk all over him, tries to force him into oral sex, and then when they either refuse or he forced them to, he never sees them again. And then they filed the complaints. But when one comes forward and has the cojones to do it, pardon the pun, here you go. I just, again, I can't fathom it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. I still shake my head. It's like you have so many people on staff with an NFL team. What are you doing? What are you doing? Maybe if you have one person that you know, you trust, that, you know, with other people in the room, or somebody that, you know, it has been a long time confidant, I get it. But not trying to track down women on Instagram to give you rub downs. Just there's something not right there. Something not right there. Gary over on the live stream says the same thing. Dude's toast. You're probably right, Gary. 877-867-1670. Want to hit us up? Do it on Twitter at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. Sports Stance Lisa says, do you think he will play in the NFL ever again, or will this be swept under the rug? In today's day and age, with the Me Too movement going on, there's no way they sweep this under the rug. If anything, he's guilty now, and he has to prove his innocence. In the court of public opinion, one comes forward and seeking just money and hasn't filed charges, that's one thing. Two come forward, okay, you start to raise an eyebrow. Three, you're going, okay, there's something going on here. 22? If Busby is correct, and he's not, and to this point, he has not lied about anything or over-exaggerated anything, supposedly. He's got the evidence in Instagram posts, social media posts, text messages. He believes he's going to turn it all over to the police department. And then it's not 10 that they filed, it's 22 total. There's definitely something going on there. This isn't on the same level as Darren Sharper, but it's damn close. Jamie says the Deshaun Watson situation isn't an example of stupidity. It's just another example of a rich, arrogant athlete who believes he's above the rules. I would probably throw some stupidity in there too, but you are correct. You are correct, Jamie. Steven says, by the way, Steven listening to us in Rice Lake says, Deshaun Watson has thrown away his career for self-gratification and complete arrogance and demeaning of women. To say that he has the utmost respect is an outright lie, and I'll never look at him the same again. Well, I wouldn't expect you to. Just because he says it doesn't make it the truth. Now, you know, again, you're in this country, you are innocent until proven guilty. But the fact that he has so many people coming forward with basically the same story, I mean, at some point you got to say where there's a little smoke, there's fire, right? Colonel Busby says Deshaun Watson probably never going to play in the NFL again. Texans might as well start looking for a new quarterback. Jennifer says, do you think this is the reason that J.J. Watt wanted out of Houston? He saw this coming. That's a great question. I don't know. That's a great question. Maybe there might have been rumors. You know, if this started happening back in February, you know, I mean, maybe there were some rumors out there. Who knows? Good point. The madness continues. So we got more NCAA games today. I'm excited for it. Is your tournament bracket busted? We'll talk about that. Badgers out. Now who you got? Who you got winning it all now? Who's your Final Four now? I still have my 2 out of 4. I got the Zags in Michigan. But Ohio State and Illinois are both gone. Who's your Final Four now? Hit me up. Talk some Packers, talk some Brewers, talk some Bucks. Got a lot of stuff coming up. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, Wisconsin's basketball season has come to an end. The 9th-seeded Badgers couldn't overcome a rough first half and fell 76-63 to top-seeded Baylor in the round of 32 yesterday afternoon.
Just got done with our team in the locker room and really thanked them for everything they've done for us, not only this year, but a group of seniors that are obviously going out the door, and really appreciate all they've given us and what they've done for our program.
Here's more from senior guard Dimitri Trice.
With the older group and a lot of guys leaving as seniors, it was definitely emotional. There was a lot of tears being shed, but we know that this group is going to stick together after this. There's still a lot of basketball to be played between each of us, so we're going to hold our heads high. A lot of people doubted us throughout the whole entire season, so we're just going to come out of here and hold our heads high and get ready for the next step in life.
To the ice, the Wisconsin men's hockey team is back in the NCAA tournament for the first time in 7 years. The Badgers found themselves as the number 1 seed in the East region, and they'll face Bemidji State in the regional semifinal. Bucky will get underway Friday in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and taking the Beavers at 12 p.m. Central.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
When a company only does business in Wisconsin, that's Wisconsin Strong. Rural Mutual provides all lines of insurance, including commercial, farm, home, and auto. And your premiums stay right here to keep Wisconsin strong. Local agents, local underwriters, local claims adjusters.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
The Milwaukee Bucks currently sit third in the Eastern Conference at 27-14. They've won 6 in a row, going for their 7th tonight when they welcome in the Indiana Pacers to the Pfizer Forum for an 8 o'clock tip. Finally, the Brewers are back at it today in Cactus League action. They'll take on the Cleveland Indians at 3:05. In Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Hour number 2 of the Bill Michaels Show. Who you got dancing in the tournament? Who is your final 4? We have seen Cinderella advance. We've got another opportunity today with Abilene Christian, as they're going to be taking on UCLA today. UCLA wins the play-in game, the 11th seed against BYU. They knock off Michigan State. They beat BYU. Now they have Abilene Christian on the docket. The next up would play the winner of Maryland and Alabama. That will get underway today, and the tournament games beginning here, coming up here in about 10, 15 minutes tops. We've got more games today. So how about you? Who is your final 4? Who is your final 4? 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Your final 4. Who you got and who you got winning it all? I still have Gonzaga. I still have Michigan, but Ohio State and Illinois both bounced out of the tournament. Ohio State falters early, losing to Oral Roberts, the 15 seed. And then Illinois, they win their first one against Drexel and then promptly get bounced by Loyola Chicago. And Illinois now out of the tournament. You got Oregon State, the 12-5 seed. That was the 12-5 seed upset. Oregon State advances. Not only do they advance, but they knock off Oklahoma State. And they are now going to play Loyola Chicago for the right to go to the Elite 8 next week. So we got a lot of good stuff in the tournament, and we got more games getting underway today. The Wisconsin Badgers, their season comes to an end. I do got to say congratulations, as the Wisconsin Badger women are NCAA champions in hockey. Congratulations, man. What a tremendous. They came back. They got the police and fire escort. They toured around town a little bit the other night, and now they get a chance to go out, take the trophy out, celebrate a little bit. They don't have to worry about the COVID protocols and being swabbed and poked and prodded and 6, 7, 8, 9 times a week and living in bubbles and such. You go through all of that. I mean, the physical season is one thing. The mental grind of being in a bubble, being poked and prodded and being tested continuously, you know what the ultimate goal is. So that's why you do it. And lo and behold, it all pays off. So congratulations to the Wisconsin Badger women as they are NCAA hockey champion. The men taking on Bemidji State. And they're going to be playing, I believe it's this coming weekend. It's this Friday, if I'm not mistaken. But nevertheless, hopefully they can continue to advance as well. Good stuff there. 877-867-1670. You can follow us over on the Bud Light live stream. The live stream is up and running. You can find us on YouTube, find us on Twitch. Simply just look The Bill Michaels up. And always love it when you subscribe, when you follow, when you like. Thanks to everybody for doing that. To all of you. Thanks to Steve. Thanks to Marcy. Thanks to Dan. Dan paying attention to us every day in Wausau. He says it's easier to get you on the live stream than it is over the air. So we turn it on in the office. And he says, yes, we are working in the office. So great to have you listening to us in Wausau. And Keith is over in Sheboygan saying hi. Says, are you going to be over at Road America this year? 2 big races coming up. Can't find a room anywhere for the NASCAR event. As a matter of fact, yes, I hope to be at both. Oh, I know for a fact we're going to be at the Indy race. Most likely going to be over at the NASCAR race as well. But I just met there. I was up at Road America a week ago. I think a week ago today, as a matter of fact. And the same thing. Yeah, I mean, everything there is pretty much sold out. The race itself is not. You can still get tickets for the race. But everything when it comes to the Osthoff and all the surrounding hotels and such, and it's going to be a NASCAR party. Still some tickets available and still some lodging and camping sites available and such for IndyCar. But as far as NASCAR goes, boy, it's thin. I don't want to say completely sold out because that's a lie, but it's thin. Just an FYI. So 877-867-1670. Thanks to everybody for paying attention to us. So let's see here. By the way, Bemidji is not a state. Correct. Thank you very much. That's like Cincinnati is not a state. Cincinnati State Technical College. That's not a state either. Just so you know. Otto says, I'm double busted with Illinois and Ohio State. Geez. Correct? Big Ten not represented well. Ohio State bounced early on against Oral Roberts. But you know what? Watching the Oral Roberts crowd, their fans, as they knocked off Florida, that was pure tournament. That was pure March Madness, pure fun. Great to see again. I was just thrilled for it. And then obviously Loyola Chicago and Sister Jean and that entire story. She was doing interviews yesterday after the game, as a matter of fact. After they knocked off Illinois, Loyola Chicago continues to advance. Oregon State, the 12 seed, knocking off number 5 Tennessee, knocking off number 4 Oklahoma State. They've advanced. Syracuse, an 11 seed. They beat San Diego State. I told you, I never count on West Virginia any further than the Sweet 16. They got bounced in the field of 32. And Bob Huggins, boy, I'll tell you what. Bob Huggins looks, if you remember Bob Huggins, when he came into the league, when he came into the NCAA as a head coach with Cincinnati, that guy was like, he was like the Teflon Don, man. He had the double-breasted suits. That guy was styling and profiling. Now he looks like he came out of the mountain. Look at his shoes. Wearing like white socks shoes he was wearing. Boy, I had some heart ailments and such, but time has not been kind to that man. Holy mackerel. But Syracuse, Jimmy Boeheim and company knock off West Virginia. Houston advances. They down Rutgers out of the Big Ten. Houston gets the win there. And then you got Arkansas and Texas Tech. Both of those teams advancing. The 3-seed Arkansas, 6 Texas Tech. Arkansas gets the win. They go to the Sweet 16. Then Purdue got beat by North Texas. Villanova then promptly disposes of North Texas. Villanova and Baylor, a good matchup. A 1-5 matchup in the South with the right to move on to the Elite Eight. So who's your Final Four now? Who's the Final Four now that you have? I would have to readjust. Probably I would say with Villanova without their leading scorer, I'd probably go Baylor. And God, I almost want to say Loyola Chicago going to the Final Four, the way they're playing. Because I thought Illinois was playing some good basketball, and I thought for sure they would knock off Houston. So, I mean, Loyola Chicago over Oregon State, I might have to take that, put Loyola Chicago in the Elite Eight. And since Houston is then going to take on Syracuse, and as good as Syracuse is and as well as they shoot from the outside, I'm going to take Houston. Then I got Loyola Chicago maybe going to the Final Four. So Baylor, Loyola Chicago, and I still have Gonzaga and Michigan in it. Michigan, though, they kind of quote upset alert as Michigan's taking on LSU today, getting ready for that game to get underway. Colorado and Florida State play later today. And as I mentioned earlier, Maryland with another Big Ten opportunity, and Alabama going at it. So, but now you got Luka Garza and company in Iowa getting ready to tip off against Oregon. Oregon coming into this game an uncontested win as VCU had to bow out of the tournament because of COVID. So Oregon automatically advanced, and they are getting ready to play their first game, Iowa their second game, as Iowa getting ready to tip off in just a moment or so against Oregon. So, yeah, good basketball today. I'm excited for today. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to chime in, go ahead. Feel free to do so. Not a lot happening when it comes to the world of the Green Bay Packers. The Packers re-signed running back Aaron Jones to a 4-year deal. And after that, it's been quiet. Packers haven't re-signed an unrestricted free agent or signed an outside free agent for that matter. In fact, really, there's not a team that in the NFL that's been really that much quieter. The Packers restructured some contracts. They brought back Jones, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. As of this morning, Kevin King, Lane Taylor, Raven Green, Tyler Lancaster, Jared Valdier, Billy Wynn, Tavon Austin, Tyler Irvin, Mercedes Lewis, Damon Harrison, Will Redmond, Perry Nickerson, all remain free agents. Packers haven't done anything. $6.8 million under the cap right now. There still has to be more restructuring, obviously. The Packers hardly dive into the first week of free agency, but in this second week, we could see them start to dive into it a little bit more. And there's still salary cap constraints, like I had said. And the question then becomes, will they or will they not restructure Aaron Rodgers' deal or complete an extension for Devontae Adams, or both, which would then open up some, well, you would assume, massive amount of room. If neither contract is touched, nothing is done, and the Packers may not do anything in terms of it. You know? The Packers may not do anything. I'd find that hard to believe because you still need room. If you go to the June 1st cuts, you still need room to sign your rookies. Rick says, I watch the live stream at home, but when I'm in the car, I listen on WOSQ, our mighty station out of Marshfield. No moves from the Green Bay Packers. Look like they're going to sit on their hands until after the draft. That would be their style. I think the Packers fans, it would be maddening and somewhat disappointing. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to report. When it comes to the white paper smoke, hell, there's not even smoke coming out of 1265 right now. It's like the lights are off. Nobody's home. Nothing going on. So now you just wait and see. Like I said earlier in the first hour, we're going to talk more about this and the Badgers and the NCAA tournament. Tom Oates of the State Journal going to be joining us a little bit later on today. So he is actually on his way back in transit back from Indianapolis. So we'll talk with Oatesy coming up a little bit later on today. But, yeah, nothing else going on right now regarding the Green Bay Packers. Nada. Nothing. Mark writes in the Wendy's, or I should say in the email inbox, and he says, hey, Bill, great to have you back on the air. He is listening up there in Manitowoc, and he said, I'm following you on the live stream. You're going to be back here in the Green Bay area anytime soon. If you mean on the air, at some point we hope to. At some point we hope to. He said, I'm very disappointed in what the Packers have not done, but I still have hope and remain staunch in my support of the green and gold. But if they don't do anything, I don't see this team getting back to an NFC championship game. As a matter of fact, I see them regressing and wasting the last year or two of Aaron Rodgers. This is a damn shame. This should make Packers fans extremely angry. My friends and I were talking about over the weekend as we gathered to watch the Badgers beat the hell out of the North Carolina Tar Heels, and he's got in parentheses, yay. We are all frustrated with what's going on. Why are they seemingly forcing the Hall of Famer out of Green Bay? Is he that bad behind the scenes? I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you of some kind of depth. And unfortunately, I just, with COVID being what it is, with the restrictions inside locker rooms, with the lack of rumors, if you will, they still have I keep sitting here when it comes to the Packers with this level of hope and saying, look, I know there's June 1st cuts. If you're going to make a move, if you're going to get rid of some of this salary, you take a guy like Dean Lowry, you make it after June 1st, you get some of that cap relief. So the Packers are probably going to wait until then. They go through the draft. They try to fill a few holes. They see what else they need. They cut a few guys. They have some room. That's when you see Devontae Adams, Jay Alexander. Maybe they sign those contract extensions, and then you see some additional money freed up. And if they get money, maybe that's when they go after Aaron Rodgers and extend him. But you would assume, I mean, that's your biggest. You would assume that they would have pushed a little bit of that money down the road, right? Maybe converted 10 million of it. You don't have to do the whole boat, but maybe some of it, But they haven't done it. They haven't done it. So they're keeping their options open regarding Father Time and Aaron Rodgers in that deal. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm disappointed, but I'm remaining hopeful as a fan. I'm remaining. But what kills us as fans is not knowing. Right? It's not knowing. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. There is a team that has done something, and they're winning, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that next in the Bill Michaels Show.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket, this is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Bill Michaels Show, we continue on, and well, I shouldn't say a caller, but a listener called in and said, what are your thoughts on the Wojo firing, which was, that news was breaking as we were getting ready to end our day on Friday, that Wojo was out as the Marquette basketball coach. Look, I'm pretty much like... I'm pretty much like everybody else. The guy could recruit, just never didn't win. I mean, go to where they were, and I hate to go back this far. Go to where they were with Crean and D. Wade and company, going to a Final Four, consistently in the tournament, and Buzz Williams had him consistently in the tournament, and then Wojo came in, recruited really well, and they've made two appearances in the tournament, neither of which they're 0 for 2 in the NCAA tournament. Had a chance to win the Big East and faltered down the stretch. They lost their, last 4 in a row? Something like that. So, there's just numerous examples of this team that just didn't live up to expectation. And I'll be honest with you, as much as I liked Wojo in the beginning, some of the problems of how dare you question me came about. And I thought to myself, you haven't won anything, dude. You haven't lived up to expectation, and you want to be this arrogant? Who the hell are you? And part of the problem is that we kind of give a pass to winning coaches. Winning coaches can morph into this jag mentality. Well, I'm a winner, so I'm untouchable. And it happens. We've seen it with Popovich, Belichick. I mean, some of these higher-end coaches, God knows Bobby Knight was a pain in the ass to deal with. Huggins was for years at the University of Cincinnati. Some of these coaches, Jimmy Boeheim, wanted to shut everybody down, didn't want to talk about all the internet stuff and all the issues that they were supposedly having on the inside. And coaches didn't want to talk about it, wants to slam everybody down. Patino, the same thing, But success will breed arrogance. He was arrogant and never had any success. And when you're kind of that way, you're not going to get a lot of support. You're not going to get a lot of benefit of the doubt. You're kind of left out there to swing in the breeze, and that's what happened to him. 877-867-1670 if you want to chime in. I thought it was time. I was actually really surprised they signed him to a contract extension to begin with. Whoever signed that deal should pay for that contract personally, but from what we understand, some donors stepped up to say, hey, look, this guy's got to go. They're paying him a lot of money right now to do nothing. This guy's got to go. Alan says, hey, Bill, this is not related to sports, but if you ever want to go to Costa Rica, you let me know. I'll hook you up with some great stuff to do there. How are we looking? You know what? We are looking at trips. we're looking at a listener trip of doing something. If you want to get away, a listener trip, because trips range anywhere from 15, 1,700 all the way up to $6,000. Okay. So if you want to go away, if you would say you could go on an all-inclusive trip, say to Italy, would you want to do that? Or would you want to do something else? Just taking a poll right now. So if you would want to get away, if you want to do a listener trip, all of us get together, what would you like to do? What would you like to do? 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you wanted to go on a listener trip, where would you want to go? What would you want to do? If we all got together somewhere, what would you want to do? Are we talking, beaches, resorts, and beverages? Or are we talking sightseeing, things you've never done before? We do it all together. Because there's a lot of things we can do. Maybe we'll look into that. 877-867-1670. Or hit me up over on Twitter at Bill_Michaels. You can hit us up over on Facebook, on YouTube. You can email thebillmichaels@gmail.com. This is one of the things we're looking into. So I just wanted to know. What would you like to do? Doesn't have to be sports related, by the way, as well. This is from Feral Cat Girl, who says, hey, love the program. By the way, listening in Menominee. You're going to make it back up for the high school rivalry football game next year. If they have it, the answer would be yes, if they'll have us. Says, worried about the Green Bay Packers not doing anything. We are all just sitting in limbo waiting for Aaron Rodgers' career to come to an end in Green Bay. Most likely he will come back and beat us. Do you think he ends up in Minnesota? No. I can't imagine that. Only way that happens is if they cut him. Now, if they start trying to trade him, then clearly everybody out there knows that they are going to trade him away. So why in the world would you then want to trade away a bunch of pieces unless you believe you don't have either the ability to go out and get him if he starts to hit the free agent market, that it's going to get too high. You would have to be a team that has a lot of pieces to trade or a lot of high-end draft picks to trade. But if you're going to trade, then why in the world you know they want to get rid of him then, so why not just wait until he hits the open market and then go bid on him and not lose anything along the way? Ben says, let's head somewhere warm, get toasted next to the pool. Nick says, how about going to L.A. and watch the Packers win a Super Bowl? Kinger, no skinny dipping, pal. Nothing like that. Alan says, Costa Rica, volcanoes, ziplining, mountain trails, beautiful beaches, drinking, gambling, great food, horseback riding, hot springs. Did I mention the great food? Alan, you the man. Nick says, what about Cabo? I love Cabo. Cabo's beautiful, man. It is so nice down there. Garrison says Barbados, beaches, warm water, lots of martinis. Andy says, can we play golf during the day, get tanned at night, and dance our night away? Hopefully you're talking not together there. Aaron says, would love to head someplace south, someplace warm. Let's hit the beach. Snorkeling, feeding turtles. I like turtles. Feeding turtles, and then drinking by the pool later on that night. Daniel says, would you be doing your show on the trip? Would we be able to come and see? Maybe we would. Maybe we would. Who knows? 877-867-1670, I should say. How about a big potluck, according to Lance? Lance, we're going to do something a little bit more than that. We'll do more than that on the trip, that's for sure. Dennis writes, do you think the Green Bay Packers are just waiting for the June 1st cuts to make a move, to find guys on the cheap? That seems to be the way they'll do things. They'll never buy the new car with that new car smell. They'll always buy the old one that everybody else has already farted in. spilled their coffee all over, thrown up in on the way home late at night from the bar, and then hope that the thing still runs well. That's a great description. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, my goodness. On that note, let's do this. We'll step away. We'll take a quick break. There's a team that's winning. We're going to talk about it next on the Bill Michaels Show.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Upon a midnight period, walk with something in my head.
Welcome back to the program. The Milwaukee Bucks get yet another win. Chris Middleton has been locked into a major shooting slump, by the way, and has not really played that well coming out of the All-Star break with his shot struggling, and he finally kind of got past it a little bit. Nice performance against San Antonio, regaining a little bit of that shooting touch. 23 points on 9 of 16 from the floor, including 3 of 4 from behind the arc. He also kind of turned back into that all-star form, another highly efficient outing, highlighted by heroics in the fourth quarter. He had 9 of his points in the final period, and he helped Milwaukee seal the deal. And hopefully he can kind of keep this up because they're going to need him. Getting P.J. Tucker in, not a bad way to go. Milwaukee's previous 4 contests coming out of the break, Middleton had been just averaging 17 points per game, 42.5% shooting from the field, and then abysmal 17% from 3-point. For he's a guy that should be playing much, much better than that. And whether or not he can remain consistent remains to be seen, but the performance certainly sparked some optimism after that tough 4-game stretch. But that was one of the nice things about Chris Middleton. The Bucks are winning, in case you didn't know. Bucks have won, 6 in a row, and they play the Pacers tonight. Fiserv Forum. They've won, I think, 11 of their last 12, if I'm not mistaken. They continue to get victories. Seem to be putting it all together. Seems to be a real level of optimism. I told you in the first hour, I ran in over the weekend. I was downtown on Friday night, and I went down to watch the Badgers. I was down at Calderon Club in San Giorgio, the Napolitana Pizzeria downtown, and went over there to watch the game. And it's kind of always, I've always said, you come into town, if you're going to go to anywhere, you go to Calderon Club for the best Italian food. But it's also kind of a who's who. So sure enough, sitting there at the end of the bar, I'm kind of watching the door, and in walks Darvin Ham, the Bucks assistant coach. Everybody remembers Darvin from that run in 2001. When they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. But Darvin Ham, the assistant coach under Budenholzer, and then brings in P.J. Tucker, and P.J. Tucker had his brother in town with him. So they came in to eat and relax a little bit, and I had a chance to chat with those guys. And Tucker's just excited. P.J. Tucker's just excited to be here. He's excited not only to be in Milwaukee because of the opportunity, because you're going to get a chance to play, for the postseason, but he believes that this team can win and win the Eastern Conference. Wants to be peace for his brother, very quiet, mild-mannered guy, but they had a lot of fun. Had a good time chatting with those guys, reminiscing a little bit from some of the Bucks days gone by. But really believes he's excited to play with Giannis. He's excited to help the team win. He believes they've got a really good nucleus in place. A lot of people throughout the league, as he said, talking about how good the Bucks are and about how they've been an up-and-comer, and eventually they're going to break through that ceiling. So, you kind of cross your fingers that what he's saying is correct, and it becomes true sooner rather than later with this team. Chris says Tucker has a dope shoe collection as well. I did know that. I didn't ask him about it though. But yeah, I've heard that too. But a lot of those guys do. I mean, hell, my buddy Carmelo has an incredible shoe collection. He's constantly buying whatever either the hot shoe is or the retro shoe was from years gone by. So yeah, it's That's what I've heard. So you are correct. 877-867-1670. You want to chime in? 877-867-1670. The fact that they are now winning and they are climbing their way up when it comes to the Eastern Conference, are you finding yourself more and more and more? Because the Bucks are 2 games behind Philadelphia. Philadelphia's been ailing a little bit without Joel Embiid. They've won 8. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 2 in a row. The Bucks have won 6 in a row. The team behind them is the Atlanta Hawks, who have won 8 in a row. 8 in a row the Hawks have, sitting a firm 4 seed right now. There's Miami, Boston, New York. New York, by the way, getting a hard-fought overtime loss yesterday. The Knicks, you know what? At least they're starting to, they're a game under 500, but at least they're starting to become somewhat relevant again. As the Pacers, who the Bucks play tonight, 19-22. Although they've gotten a couple of wins in their last couple of games, still a pesky team. But just on the outside looking in, when it comes to the standings, they're a game behind Charlotte for the 8th seed right now in the Eastern Conference. Toronto has fallen off. Cleveland, the Pistons are just flat out terrible. Orlando down there as well. But the 76ers still the team to taste, or the team to chase. But the best margin of victory in the NBA right now belongs to Utah, who is winning games on a pace of 7.8 points differential per game. The Bucks are the second best. They have stayed steady. They dropped a little for a while when they were losing a few games, but since they have turned things around, they're back up to 7. The second best margin of differential. Not that it means a whole lot, because remember last year they were on a record-setting pace. They were double digits, and they ended up, getting bounced out of the bubble. But it's good to see that the Bucks are starting to turn that around, which is nice. They're averaging 119 points, 119 and a half points per game so far this season. The only team that's averaging more than that right now is the Brooklyn Nets, who are averaging 120.2. But Brooklyn also gives up quite a bit. They're giving up 115.2, which is why their margin of victory is 5 points per game. But you look at a team like Phoenix, who is 6.6 points differential per game. The Lakers 5.3, and the Lakers now without LeBron, who's got that high ankle sprain. Who knows how long he's going to be out. But nonetheless, over in the East, it's really Philadelphia, Brooklyn, and the Bucks, and I think everybody else just playing to get into the postseason to see who's going to match up and get knocked out by the Milwaukee Bucks, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Philadelphia 76ers. So have you found yourself looking over the fence more and more now that the Bucks are starting to win again? Are you finding yourself getting more enthused? And the next question is, if you're outside of the Milwaukee area, are you starting to look at some of those single game tickets? Are you starting to look to come back down to the Fiserv Forum? I saw more than a few fans milling around down in Milwaukee over the weekend. And, a lot of people wearing Bucks gear, a lot of people wearing Badger Red on Friday and Sunday, but a lot of Bucks gear floating around down there. As a matter of fact, I was out on Saturday night out in the Waukesha area, and a lot of people with Bucks gear on Saturday night. So are you finding yourself now looking over that fence a little bit more about wanting to go and wanting to witness and wanting to kind of get behind the Bucks? Are you becoming more of a believer, or are you still of the ilk of, hey, wake me up when the Eastern Conference Finals get here, and then we'll kind of see what they're doing? 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Again, 877-867-1670. If you want to chime in, hit me up over on Twitter at Bill_Michaels. At Bill_Michaels. You can find us over on Facebook fan page, simply The Bill Michaels Show. The Bill Michaels Show, and then hit us on YouTube and on Twitch TV. If you're watching on either of the streams, please subscribe over there. Thanks so much for that as well. You can hit us up just simply by looking up The Bill Michaels there. Also, this one's from Max. Max says, never been a big Bucks fan. I like what they've done, though. At least they're trying, unlike the Green Bay Packers. This is from Sherman. Sherman, by the way, listening to us on the live stream in Milwaukee. He wants us back on the air in Milwaukee. Love the program. He thinks that Giannis is on the outside looking in when it comes to an MVP. Who do you think is going to win it? I think your front runner right now is probably LeBron. You got a couple of guys that are James Harden. He's keeping the Brooklyn Nets afloat while they've been nursing injury. Harden is having a hell of a season again. Bradley Beal, certainly one of the better scorers in the league, and he has been extremely good again this season. So, but that's a great question. As a matter of fact, I was just watching on the Four Letter Network here in the studio a little while ago. They were talking about. I didn't get a chance to really pay attention to it, but it's just one of the things that I was kind of watching, and they're talking about the handicapping of the MVP race.